Welcome, everybody, to the Fanmouth Daily Fantasy Baseball Quick Hits for Thursday, June the 19th. I'm Joe Marsh, and if you haven't figured it out, I'm flying Han style, which is solo today. So what I'm going to do is just go through, give you a few of my favorite plays. Shouldn't take too long. If you'll give me about 5 minutes of your time, we'll get you some good information. So starting with pitcher. Now, my top play of the day is Scott Kazmir of the A's. He's been pitching very well at home. He's got a 1.45 ERA, allowing a 1.95 batting average. He's been good in his last few starts, given up 3 earned runs through his last 4 starts, so he's pitching very well. And he gets the Red Sox, who are hitting 229 on the road. They're hitting 234 in June. 22nd in the league in runs, 26th in slugging, and they're 9th in strikeouts. So I think all around he's got a good chance to post you a nice game against the Red Sox tonight. He's my top play of the day. Now, for someone to pair him with, there's a couple of options. If you want to go stay near the high end of the price spectrum, you've got Colin McHugh. Wasn't great in his last start, which was against the same Tampa Bay Rays, but he's pitched much better on the road. He's away from Minute Maid Park, which is a good hitter's park. He's got a 2.01 ERA on the road, allowing a 1.95 batting average. The real reason you're after him is for his ability to post you a high strike. Well, he's got 10.01 strikeouts per 9 innings, which is the highest of any pitcher going tonight. And then you look at Tampa Bay. They've been shut out in 4 of their last 10 games. They've scored 48 runs in June, which is better than only the Padres. So they're a very cold offense right now. I think now is a good time to go against them. If you want to go near the bottom and save a lot at pitching, you can use Heaney of the Marlins, the prospect that they just called up. He's been good this year between AA and AAA. He's got a 2.47 ERA, 9.28 strikeouts per 9, so he's been pitching very well. And he gets the Mets, who are hitting 218 in June. Now, a couple good reasons, to like him. He's very cheap, so you can afford to spend high at pitcher and, with your offense if you use him. Also, no one on the Mets has really seen him before, so they don't have much of a real book on him. So I think that plays to his advantage. So I think he's a good start. If you want to spend a bit more, you compare McHugh with Kazmir. You don't need to save a lot at pitcher. There aren't a ton of great offensive options, and there's actually a cheap team you can stack, which is the next thing we'll get right into. I think the team to stack today is actually the Cardinals. Now, they don't have a lot of big-time offensive players, but also they won't cost you a lot of money. They're facing David Buchanan, who's by far the worst pitcher going tonight. He's got an 8.25 ERA on the road. He has not pitched well against right-handers especially. The Cardinals are 10th in the league in batting average against righties. So I think it's a really good matchup for them, drawing a very weak pitcher. Now, specifically who it looks good for, Matt Adams, I think, is a top play. He's hitting 374 against right-handers. He's an inexpensive first baseman you can use. He doesn't really have a lot of power, but still, that's good batting average numbers. Johnny Peralta, cheap shortstop. He's hit all 10 of his home runs off of right-handers this season. Molina, 286 against righties, hitting 300 at home. And then another guy that I like is Matt Holliday. Now, he's hitting 276 against righties, hit all 5 of his home runs off righties, and 301 at home. So there's a few good options there. You can always see who's playing at second base if you need a cheap option. If it's Colton Wong, I think he's a good cheap play. But you can use, Cardinals, like I said, they won't cost you a lot of money. If you're looking for a spot where you need to fill someone, and you can just by default, choose a Cardinals player, and I think that's a pretty good way to go. Now, a few of my top plays for the day. I like Evan Gattis a lot. He's incredibly hot right now. He's hitting 420 in June. He's right in the middle of a 17-game hitting streak. During that streak, he's got 7 home runs. He's been decent against right-handers. He's facing Zimmerman, who's a pretty good pitcher. But the way he's hitting, I'm not too concerned about the matchup. I just want, someone that's as hot as he is, I think is a great play. Another guy I like, Brandon Moss. I always like to use him against righties. He's a good shot to go deep. He's got 14 home runs off of right-handers this season. That's 5th most in the league. And then you look at who he's up against. It's Peavy, who's allowed 9 home runs to lefties, which is 4th most in the league. So pitcher who gives up a lot of home runs to lefties, a hitter who hits a lot of home runs off of righties. I think that's a great combination. I think that could equal a home run today. And then another first baseman. I already gave you Adams and Moss. Just another guy, to consider is Teixeira. He's a guy I always like when he's at home facing a right-hander. He has 6 home runs in 62 at-bats at home, 9 home runs in 119 at-bats against righties, and he's facing Hutchinson, who's given up 6 homers to lefties. So, any of those guys has a good shot to go deep tonight. I think you can probably afford them all. Like I said, you don't need to spend a ton at pitching. There are no real high-end pitchers. You can always fill in a couple of those Cardinals guys who aren't too expensive and build your lineup that way. So that's pretty much it. Again, to recap, Kazmir, McHugh, Heaney, use 2 of those 3 guys. I have a really good feeling about Heaney. If you put him with Kazmir, I think that will work out well, although you may be left with some extra money on offense. Stack the Cardinals up, get a lot of them in your lineup if you can against David Buchanan. I have absolutely no faith in him pitching tonight, so I think those are all good plays. And then the top guys to get in your lineup, Gaddis, Moss, Teixeira. If you can get all 3 of those guys in your lineup, Gaddis at catcher, Moss at first, and Teixeira at utility, I have a feeling you're going to have a pretty good night. That wraps it up for today. There won't be any more videos this week. Please tune in to the website tomorrow. Dave will have blog posts for you. Thank you very much.